this video, I have a saying about giving a rat's ass that's kind of funny. That how can you give a rat's ass? The ass of the rat isn't yours to give, so let the rat keep his ass. Or you can pick up a rat in tandem to somebody else's ass first, and yes, you're giving a rat's ass. And if the other person wants to accept the rat ass first, to give a rat's ass, you're sort of offering up the rat's ass, and it's up to the other person if he wants to accept. So I'll have another saying too, that in some certain things, that if a rat's ass should really be offered or even given about a particular subject. So that's what I say about tolerance to a certain thing. You can say sometimes you give a shit. There's some and I also have a thing where I say there's certain aspects of giving a shit or giving a fuck. It's not that I don't give a shit or give a fuck. It's there's some aspects of giving a shit or giving a fuck that I don't give a shit or a fuck about. And at any given time, when and where should a rat's ass be given, or a fuck be given, or a shit be given, or even offered? You know what I mean? Alright, what's up, yins guys? Time for another video. And just like I said to a few of y'all, every time you hear you get a long-winded statement on the YouTube wall or whatever that's not grammatically correct and thrown together as a big ramble, you know there's a video coming. Well, that's how I write my personal notes, whether it's on there or on a notepad in my damn old computer. But anyway, yeah, which shaped the beliefs that I have. You know, why I talk about the extreme right and extreme left, and how I always say if it's of any consolation to the leftists out there that what little ones stalk me and make sure my videos get less views by broadcasting my videos on their pages somewhere. And anyway, yeah, to not ramble about that, but yeah, I make a separate video about that. You're getting a lot of views even though you get 5 or 6 or 7. I know that for a fact, but anyway, but yeah, you're getting views one way or another, and people are knowing what you think. But anyway, yeah, if you have the far left and the far right, and you got moderates in your life before you even had this internet or this YouTube, right? And what shaped a lot, speaking for myself, not to speak for anybody else, any of you guys out there, it's up to you what you think, but personally what shaped my ways of thinking and not kissing my ass to any side is not that you're some schizoid or paranoid dwelling on the past of the days you were in school, but as you get older, the people you're around, you know how they act, different kinds of people, they act the same way. But yeah, you get the far left and far right, and liberals and conservatives from youth, and it doesn't really, it somewhat changes, but it evolves, and it almost, I regard them as like not dwelling on the past like some schizoid, but you got grown-ass people that act and maybe even heckle and have their passive aggressions and microaggressions, if you want to call it that, into the workplaces when you get older. Some of them do act like grown-ass men or women behave in a particular way, and I can tell you a lot of things. But anyway, okay, if you got this far in this video, it's like I compare it to my thing where I don't know, you want to call this a Western Pennsylvania thing like I do, or if you guys watching, you want to call it a Midwest thing or whatever, where you're from thing. But it's like when you get old enough and get your first apartment after you got your first income of your own, right? You got two different people saying shit to you, you know what I mean? You had the classic conservative old fogeyism, whether you're black or white, say from Western Pennsylvania like I am from, you got those that'll say, yeah, you're barely 18 or 21, but oh yeah, they're nagging you. I say, When are you gonna get your first? When are you gonna get a job, or when are you gonna get a place of your own? And yeah, being at a certain age, you like some of us are like, man, I can't wait to. But then we went to school with people that were a certain age, 20s, pushing 30, like I made fun of, still living there in our parents' house. You got a lot of them engaging in that activism now, and you might have known me already, and I repeatedly make fun of that shit. But anyway, yeah, you had that back before you had the internet, right? The ones that are forever in their parents' house. You understand why the old fogies of Western Pennsylvania would nag you that way. But okay, I'm talking about the right first, then talking about the left. The conservatives back in my day, like I'm 53-year-old. Reason why I'm telling you this is, okay, they be like, okay, when are you gonna get a job, get a place of your own? But they have terms and conditions when you do that, right? And why it sounds contradictory when I talk about it, because some of them with the older ways, it's how you do it that they talk about. Because you know how I be saying, yeah, they be saying, okay, when you going to get an apartment or job? And then they'll say, oh, he walked out on his parents. Some of you might roll their eyes at me. You might be rolling your eyes at me if you didn't live around this, right? Rolling your eyes at me saying, what the fuck's he talking about? Is he some kind of schizoid or don't know what he's talking about? What it is anyway, in my area, the old fogies, the conservatives, the old fogey conservatism, you know, the kind I always talk about that are like, they pretty much turned into dinosaurs now. If they didn't have the newer ones, if they didn't have a bigger enemy like the LGBT, they'd be wanting to throw us in jail for landing a good paying job out of minimum wage without getting a haircut, you know. But you had those, they'd be like, okay, when you going to get a job on a place of your own? But when you do it, they believed it was a big sin if you didn't go, if you're not planning to go get married and shit like that. If you're known to have a fiance and get married, and you beg parents, and some of them believe everybody's parents, they can afford to be gracing you with co-signing a loan, and you get your parents to co-sign with a car, and some different people in financial brackets in Western Pennsylvania couldn't afford that, but that was expected. You use some cases. Then be talking to you. Oh, the ones that be saying you. Okay, try not to laugh here, because yeah, this is true and funny. And if you you went and got a place of your own by yourself, maybe you didn't settle on anybody. You're somewhat maybe dating and maybe not. You know what I mean? You get a place of your own, and land a good paying job without getting a haircut, so you can buy stereos and leather jackets and shit, and not get married and beg parents to co-sign a loan and try to get credit. Oh, that's a big sin. He must be on dope. They talking, or they'll be talking to your face, giving you compliment sandwiches, or outright saying it and all that. I know I spend a lot of time getting to the point, but at the same time trying not to laugh, but this shit's true. And then if you got this far in this video, okay, the difference between them and then the far left will be regarding you as a sinner. While the side I just talked about, oh, he's probably on dope and he probably wants to have drinking parties. Now here's where the other side comes in, that was the far left liberal, that you get your first income and a place of your own. They're all pissed at you, and it's a big sin, and it's disrespectful and selfish and all that. Yeah, the other side says you're selfish too. Yeah. And getting a cat too, instead of having a baby, that's a big sin. But anyway, back to enough about the right, the left. Oh yeah, you have a cat or something, or a dog, and you got a place of your own, income of your own. You're like, oh, you don't have drinking parties, and the people that barely say a couple words to you and don't even hardly know you even, you know, when you forget your first place, you have people approaching you and introducing themselves. Oh, you don't want to have, you get talked about. You're in your 20s. Oh, you're not going to have drinking parties and ask you if you're drinking. You're not going to have drinking parties and all that shit. And all the shit that the conservatives I talked about accusing you of, this side is mad at you because you don't want to do that. And they want to see you fail. And they will, whether to your face or say it real loud to their friends while you hear it, or say to your face compliment sandwiches, passive-aggressive, microaggressive things, be like, you're some kind of square nerd. Oh, and if there's it's both black people and white people, but of course the black folk in that crowd that criticize you, oh yeah, you don't want to open up your place to parties and smoke some kind of dope or whatever, or drinking parties, you're some kind of racist snob. So yeah, somebody will throw a racist snob in there too, that happens. So you got this side saying this, the conservatives, the ones I always say that kind of got into dinosaur. It's the kind that become dinosaurs, but yet you got the modern, newer ones that ain't much different. And then if I have to say it again, if they had a bigger enemy, oh my God, who hired you in a job that's above minimum wage without getting a haircut? Yeah, you should have been thrown in jail or something and have all your belongings seized or whatever and money seized. And then the other side is like, man, that selfish motherfucker, yeah. No hosting parties, and he don't want to bring all kind of girls in the house and hoping to get laid and have parties or whatever. Oh, he must be that gay slur that you're not allowed to say on YouTube that rhymes with maggot. And nerd, square, probably a snitch for the police, probably a narc. I know people were using the word narc, short for narcissist, now on YouTube, but in my area, you're probably a narc. It means snitch for the police, like an informant for the police. Which will bring you to, if I have to go on to, the one side that I grew up till now on the internet. One side calling the other a conspiracy theorist and vice versa. Yeah, you didn't want to have drinking parties or go to have the drinking and stoner crowd. Oh, you're probably a snitch for the police. That was the conspiracy theory on the liberal stoner side back in my day before there was this YouTube and internet. Yeah, and then in my day you had the old fogey conservatism, not to be repetitive, but industrial factory job, a little bit above minimum wage, without getting a haircut and walking around with money. You a band? Oh my God, you got a place of your own. You didn't do it how we wanted you to do it, so you must be on dope or whatever. And so yeah, you ran out on your parents simply because you didn't leave a place on the terms that we think you should. Like, it's only proper to do it if you're getting married and shit like that. Otherwise, you're probably on dope. Or I'm bouncing back and forth between the sides. I spent too much time on this, but yeah, back in the day, yeah, that was my glory days. Both sides. That's what shaped. I'm not just some fucking troll on here saying that shit. I'm not saying this shit for nothing. If you got this far, that's what shaped my beliefs over here. So I'm trolling, but yet I'm not trolling. But maybe I'm trolling the right way, telling the truth as I see it. I'm not just making the shit up. It's basically was literally shaped by what I said. One side hates you for this. The other side hates you for this. They both threaten some kind of consequences, in so many words, if you don't suck up to them. Whether it's some exaggerated fear that you're supposed to feel that they'd sick the police on you, and the other side, some kind of exaggerated threat of, oh, you might get jumped or beat up because, that represents two sides that have some kind of enforcing class that you're supposed to have an exaggerated fear of. You know what I'm saying? But that's it for this. I said enough.